Previously on Gears.
Last night was a glamorous affair, I must say, and beautifully put together for the West Bank Car of the Year ceremony. As mentioned a little bit earlier, there were 12 contenders that were in line to win the most prestigious award that any motor manufacturer can win in South Africa. And I was looking through over the last 5 years. 4 of the winners of the Car of the Year were relatively small engine cars, 1.4 litre, 1.5 litre, 1.6 litre sort of derivatives of cars. Last night, I think threw the cat amongst the pigeons when it was unveiled that the Car of the Year for whatever, just the Car of the Year, is the Porsche Boxster. All right, which is a magnificent car in its own right. But there were a lot of people who, I don't know, took umbrage to the fact that a car of this quality or caliber could actually become a Car of the Year. So, I asked for some of your comments. These are some of the comments that I posted last night. The Car of the Year is the Porsche Boxster. Brilliant. Well done. So, had a couple of tweets that have come in. Paddy214 says, the only people that buy a Porsche Boxster are those who can't afford a 911. You see, people are getting it the wrong way. Why is it the Car of the Year? Then a very good tweet that came in from Seasware81. Finally, not this affordable cars. This will make us aspire more to drive one, not the likes of the Hyundai Elantra, which of course was last year's Car of the Year. Delware30 says, must be joking. This is the worst thing that can happen. How do people afford this? Meant to be a different. How do people afford this? Meant to be different. Total joke. Pip F1 says Porsche is unusual for that accolade, but like the way they are going. Chris Venter says VW Golf just won the Geneva Award. They're kicking ass globally as a manufacturer because, of course, VW owns Porsche. Delaware 30 came back and says, this is not good. West Bank, part of FNB. Think of Shout. Time to wake up. I didn't know all of a sudden cars now became political. But anyway, that's your own opinion. Foxy Girl Me says, but it's the baby of them. Yeah, but that was the only one that was nominated. Than Doty says, but it looks like all the other ones. Well done to Porsche, so I should have ordered this instead of my 911 Turbo. Okay, very good one. A couple of other tweets that have come through as well. Let's go through some of the tweets that have come through. Thought the Kia Rio would take it. That's from Ashton Obery. The Oracle says, sports car for a poor man. I'm hoping this becomes the new mommy van. Where do I sign? That's from Pixie. Thanks very much. Maybe it's not a hairdresser car anymore then. That's from Jared. So some interesting takes on it. That man Don and Company says, easily accessible for 95% of us. Really? I think he was being sarcastic. Bazinga. Okay, I get that one as well. Nico Fanikek says, it is like giving a VW Beetle the Car of the Year. Kia Rio was the better choice. Drive ZA says, value for money, great performance, stats, lights on fuel. The Boxster deserves it. Very, very interesting point that comes through from Drive ZA. Connie says, if I say something really nice, does it mean I get to drive it for the next year? Connie, I can't offer that to you. But somebody last night won through a competition, I think has won it to drive it for, I think, 3 months, which is very, very cool. Marius Roberts says, was the correct choice, head and shoulders above the competitors. Debate more around the Car of the Year criteria. Hey Sasha, check it out. Okay, I'll go and check that out, but I don't know where. Let's all go out and buy a Porsche Boxster. Not. That's from Sharon Lee Kelly. You see, the way that they determine the Car of the Year is each car gets put into different segments. And from there, then the various journalists from the South African Guild of Motoring Journalists then go and judge the car on the various criteria that they're given. Okay, so the Porsche Boxster, if you look at it, is something like 560 odd thousand rand. Okay, which is, it's a whack load of money to buy a car. But some of the other cars that were in there as well included the Range Rover Evoque, which is just under 500,000 rand, the Ford Ranger, which is also 460 odd thousand rand. The cheapest car there, I think, was the Kia Rio at about 190 odd thousand rand. The Toyota Yaris, by the way, this is a hybrid Yaris, is 230,000 rand. Yes, exactly. What? That's what Scotty said, and then he used another word which I won't repeat. Now, so before you sit there and go, oh, I can't believe it's the Porsche Boxster that has made it, you've and it's quite difficult to explain, but the car journalists who go and judge these cars are given a very strict set of parameters to work within. So it's not as though they're just sitting and saying, oh, the Porsche is just so much fun to take around the track, because obviously it would have been compared to all of the other cars. They're looking at value for money. It's what it actually gives you. They're looking at its fuel efficiency. They're looking at its design. They're looking at various aspects out of it. And they showed us the scorecards last night at the end of the evening up on the big screens. The Porsche Boxster, through the, I think it's 32 independent journalists from the Guild, won comfortably by a good 50 odd points ahead of the next car, which in their category was the Range Rover Evoque. So all of a sudden we're getting this slight sort of change of thinking from certain journalists, where they're looking at cars not just because they may be cheap and have a small engine and 90% of the population can afford it, but they're looking at vehicles that offer you value for money for the price that you are paying. And I think it's a very, very good shift, because now we could see other vehicles being nominated into the Car of the Year categories. I'm not saying the likes of Ferraris and Maseratis and McLarens. I'm just saying that we've got to look at where value is. No car on the market is cheap anymore, but you've got to look at the value that you're getting for your 120,000 rand motor vehicle against the value getting for a car which costs 500,000 rand. Now, whether or not you can only afford the 120,000 rand car or the 500,000, or you can afford the 500,000 car, you've got to be able to look at the dynamics of each of those vehicles, and rand for rand, which one is giving you more value. And that's how they determine which is going to be the Car of the Year. I'm not saying that all of a sudden for the next 5 years, the Car of the Year, we're going to have extraordinary vehicles like a Porsche Boxster winning. We might have a 900cc car winning it next year. But I do think it has opened up the eyes of many people, as well as journalists, to understand what determines value for money. So I applaud Porsche. Congrats to Toby Fenter and his whole team for winning this accolade. I think it's groundbreaking in South Africa, and let the debate continue, because I think it is very healthy that we do debate it. Otherwise, every year, as Maz says, every year the Car of the Year should be a Toyota Quantum Taxi, because that is the car that is delivering the most amount of people across the country, and deservedly has you know, most probably got the best value in terms of that. Reino Gelderblom says exactly what I've been saying. Just remember, everyone, this is Car of the Year, not most affordable Car of the Year. And hopefully I've explained it, that it is value for money, rand for rand, as to what you are getting. So, Car of the Year is the Porsche Boxster. Deal with it.
Weekdays from 12 to 2 p.m. Central African Time.
Beautiful.
Gears with Sasha Martinengo on bulls.co.za.